am pleasantly surprised by this anime. As you can see on screen, our main female character crashes a party through a window by collapsing with her broom onto the ground, looks at the situation that the girl she's currently carrying was getting framed for awful things she was doing to this other girl, and that her fiance, which is our main female character, the blonde-haired girl's brother, basically was calling off an engagement. And so she comes in, she's like, so that's what's going on. These type of things happen, assesses the situation, grabs the girl that basically is going through a lot right now, being framed for things, etc., picks her up, gets her on a broom, flies out of the building, and is like, you know what, I'm gonna go ask my parents if I can marry you. That is what happens. And I'm just like, okay, this series is automatically a win. it's a win, like, legit. Like, okay, so let's talk about it. Let's honestly talk about just how amazing this first episode is. So, I've been hearing people talking about this show for over a week now, because there was a pre-aired episode of this that came out like a week ago, and people were saying, Chibi, you gotta watch this. And when I did my stream like a few days ago, people were saying, like, Chibi, you should actually watch this, because the episode's technically already out, but the episode officially came out today on Crunchyroll. Sat down, I watched it, and blown away by it. And it's not just obviously this ending conclusion with the whole Yuri stuff going on, because I know everybody is going to be talking about this, and yes, it is absolutely a fantastic scene, but I will say, besides just that, there is a lot going on within this episode that allows this series to hold on its own 2 feet and be something absolutely spectacular. So let's dive head first into it. Let's talk about why Tensei Oujo-san is a good anime, and it is worth your time. So for one good reason is that this is trending #1 in Japan, so that's a big deal. I mean, it goes to show the overall level of popularity in Japan for this show is pretty freaking high for it to reach that level. But on top of that as well, I mean, we have spectacular visuals. Like, the visual department of this show is legitimately good. Like, background art, to the character expressions, to the line work, to the VA. It is a really good looking show, a really good sounding show. The OST, to the music, to, just the opening song, or the music technically we got within this episode. It's legitimately a really good episode. And it's not just like the Yuri stuff that obviously carries this. We have a really strong main female lead that really knows what she wants. She's fighting for what she wants. And it's a very powerful and inspiring first episode. And it wouldn't necessarily be a stretch to say that I'm getting a lot of Lycris Recoil vibes from this. And what I mean by that is like, if anyone watched that show that came out a few seasons ago with, Chisato and all that, everybody will remember that Chisato was a very powerful character. She was very spunky, she knew what she wanted, she fought for what she wanted, and when I see our main female character here, from a very early age to where she's at the end of this episode, it's very clear she knows what she wants in life, she's fighting for it, she's dead set on it, and I just appreciate her go-getter attitude. It's a very nice personality trait, and it's a nice, way to really introduce a character. She carries the first episode, hands down, which makes sense, she's the MC. But I really want to say that this is a great and beautiful first episode. Now, in terms of story, what's going on here, the episode lets you know that our main female character, our main lead, she is someone that loves magic. She absolutely adores magic. She adores this world she's in, and she wants to be able to use magic. But because of the world cursing her, basically, magic just doesn't love her, she was not able to use magic, she decided to do her own thing. Basically, magic/science, and she created a broom. She creates magic artifacts to be able to do things. Like, throughout the end of this episode, we see one of her artifacts where she, flies in. She flies in literally on a broom. She loves creating these objects, and one of the big inspirations for her is that she wanted to fly. She just wanted to be able to fly in the air, because obviously, she had magic, she would be able to normally do that. But thanks to Not, she had to create objects like this broom to be able to do said function of flying through the air. And I think this just goes to show a lot about her personality, is that she wants to invent things, she wants to create things, better society. She's a very intelligent individual. She isn't just happy-go-lucky or maybe somewhat of a ditz in some areas. She actually is a really smart character that is able to do impressive things like this that nobody else within this world can actually do. And then you go over to our other main character, which is the one that kind of got grabbed and, her fiance said, nah, I don't want to be with you anymore, and now ex-fiance, she obviously is a very beautiful woman. She's also a genius, very intelligent too, and so these two working together would definitely be able to make something incredible for this overall society and world, and they'll make the world overall a better place. Now, there is something that does need to be stated when it comes to, like, this episode. The brother, or the fiance, technically, to the girl that, got done wrong, the way he comes off is a few different ways. Some might look at him as like a Joffrey-like character from like Game of Thrones, which I don't think he's that bad, I don't. But some might look at him and think that, why is he so angry or aggressive? Why is he doing this to the girl and all that? Why is he listening to this other frame-up, or is he causing the frame, or is someone else doing it? We don't really know exactly the full plot with the way the episode is presented, but it's very clear by his overall interactions with his sister that he feels jealous. Or maybe not jealous, he feels inferior. It's a different level of jealousy. And he obviously has an inferiority complex, because one of the big brief scenes we get within this episode is that when we find out a little bit more about him and his status to, let's say, the throne, and then also our main female character and how she's not gifted with magic or whatever, basically, she gives up the throne. She literally says it a few times and even jokes about it, that she gave up the throne and her right to be on the throne just for she can be able to create magic stuff like what she's doing. For instance, the broom that can fly. So it shows that she just doesn't care. She just does not care about her royal status. She does not care about, being a king or queen, whatever. And one of the big things you could take away from that is that the brother feels awful about it. He feels inferior, because if she was someone that didn't, renounce her rights to the throne, she probably would instantly become the queen. There would be nobody that would refute it, because she is incredibly intelligent. Obviously, every time she's in the room and she's surrounded by royalty and people that are of high status, she steals the spotlight. And what better showcasing of that is literally within this scene, where she comes crashing through the room and all that. Even though the broom had a little slight malfunction, this very sequence of events basically shows how she steals the spotlight away from her own brother. And so you can see why the brother would feel that. He would feel this inferiority complex, that if it wasn't for her just willingly saying she doesn't want to be on the throne, he would never have a chance. And the only reason why he has a chance of being on the throne is because she was actually someone that said that. So it's a very interesting character. I really like the brother character. It seems like he might be an antagonist character, but who knows, maybe he might change his ways. But that is definitely something to factor into with this episode's presentation. Now, besides obviously that, I do want to take a few moments to just talk about overall the funnier tones of the character, of how she just goes out monster slaying and she wants her own loot. She comes back with this monster on her head. She has like blood all over. It's honestly hilarious. I love the character. I love her spunky attitude, like I've already said, and I think that she's a very strong female lead, and I'm glad to see more characters like this in recent, anime seasons. Like, really strong female characters like this. It's beautiful. And so, overall, Tensei Oujo, is it worth your time? Is it a series that you should dedicate some time out of your day to watch? I would say yes. I mean, I've watched a lot of anime today. Eminence in the Shadow, I've watched this series, Tensei Oujo, Inukai-san, Becoming the Dog, to also Tomo-chan, which Tomo-chan is really good as well. If you have not seen Tomo-chan, you really should. But there's a lot of good anime that's come out today. Even Bungo Stray Dogs, if you're caught up with Bungo Stray Dogs. And I would say if there's any series that definitely is worth checking out for today, would definitely be Tensei Oujo. I really think this is a solid start to a new anime series. It could be very good. I don't know how the source content is, if this is based on a light novel, web novel, manga, whatever, but I will say in terms of the content that's been presented, it's solid. And it has the potential possibility of getting a lot stronger as the story carries on, because especially with the stuff at the end of basically like the non-Yuri bait and literally like they're gonna get married, I do like that, because it means that we're not gonna be playing the ring around when the characters of like, oh, there's some Yuri here and there. The characters are actually gonna get together. I think this is really nice. It's a really nice element to it to just already establish that right off the bat, and how these two are gonna be working together for the rest of the series. So we'll see where it goes with episode 2. I'm definitely going to continue talking about the series and reviewing it as it, continues to interest me. But I just wanted to bring this series to everybody's attention that was kind of unaware of it. Hopefully, a lot of people, like a few of you guys out there that's like watching this video, become aware of Tensei Oujo. I recommend it. It's good. It's good. If you want some fantasy elements with a little bit of Lycra's recoil elements, you'll like this. So, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. It does help me out a lot. And with that, Chibi out.